Yes, welcome children. Today we will learn adaptation and classification in plants. Animals adaptation I will teach you in the next video. So let's start. Animals and plants. Now most plants and animals are specially adapted to survive in a particular habitat. They have developed special features to suit the demands of their environment. This is called adaptation. Now children, if you remember, I have already explained you adaptation in my last video. Now what do you mean by adaptation? Animals or plants, they have to change their body parts or behavior so that they can survive in the environment. Now these body parts can be anything. Now the wings, then the tail, then feathers. So all these different parts they have to develop so they can survive in the environment. Now for example, the birds should have wings and feathers so they can easily fly in the sky. Their body should be very light. Then fish, it has to have scales, then fins, tail, so that it can easily swim in the water. So these are all the features of the animals and plants also. Some of the plants they have to live in water, then on land or deserts or in snowy areas. So they have to uh, adapt to the environment and make the changes in their structure. So did you understand what is adaptation? We'll move to another slide. Now adaptation is gradual changes where in the body parts and behavior. Why? To adjust themselves to their surroundings, and such changes are called adaptations. And as I told you that they take place over a long period of time. The changes in the features or structure will not happen in 1 or 2 days. It will take long period of time to undergo these changes. Now if you remember, I gave you one homework. I told you to complete the table which was given on page number 1 of your textbook. Have you done that? Okay, if you are not done, please check the answers are given over here. Now in the column, it is written as first column, it is written as plant, habitat, then third column, type of fruit, characteristic of leaves, characteristics of stem. Now your three different plants are given. First plant is aquatic, second plant is desert, and third plant is terrestrial, the plant which is found on the land. Now lotus. Now how are the roots of the lotus? They are fibrous. They have lot of fibers. Then characteristics of leaves, large and round with wax layer. So they can easily survive in the water and the waxy layer helps them to float on the water. Now characteristics of stem is hollow and flexible. The stem has to be hollow and flexible because since they are living in the water, the stem should be flexible to move easily. Now second example is cactus. Where is cactus found? Usually desert. The type of roots are long and shallow and deep roots to tap groundwater. To tap means to easily absorb or collect groundwater, and the roots are spread over a wide area. Why they are spread? Because in desert it is very difficult to find the water. There is scarcity of water. Water is very less over there. So the roots are spread wide over so they can get the water from the ground. Now spiky. Leaves are spiky or glossy leaves to reduce water loss. The leaves are mostly converted to thorns. They don't have leaves as such. The leaves are like thorns. Why? Because then they will reduce less water. And stem is large and fleshy to store the water. Now banyan tree, India with humid and moist soil, where it is found in India. Now, how is the root? Aerial prop roots. You must have seen banyan trees. The roots, you can see the roots coming from the branches, they are hanging down, and when they meet the soil, a new plant or tree is grown over there. Then how are the leaves over of the banyan tree? Large, leathery, glossy, and green. And how is the stem? It is heavy and broad. So we have seen all these three plants: lotus, cactus, and banyan most of the times. Now we will see adaptation in aquatic plants. Now some of the aquatic plants are firmly rooted in the soil and at the bottom of the water bodies. They are fixed in the soil in the water bodies. Their stems are submerged, means they are under the water, while leaves and flowers float on the surface. However, some plants are entirely afloat. Their roots are not anchored in the soil, means that their roots are not attached to the soil. The surfaces of leaves and stems of many aquatic plants are covered with a waxy layer. As I've told you, they are living in the water, so they have to adapt the features which are suited in water environment. So their leaves and stems are covered with a wax. Why? As I told you, it helps the leaves to easily float on the water, and stems are flexible and have a waxy layer so that it can bear the water current. You know, water has currents. So to survive in that water with current, their leaves and stems are covered with wax. Leaves of some aquatic plants are thin and slender like ribbon. Why? This shape helps them to withstand fast currents of water. Again, to withstand means to stay in the water with fast current, they have leaves which are thin and slender. Air spaces in stems and petioles of aquatic plants are useful for floating in water. So they have air sacs in the stems and near the leaves, petioles, so which help them to float in water. Now there is something given in the textbook for you to try. You have to cover the leaves with plastic and see if any water is collected in the bag after keeping it in the sunlight. So children, I request you to do this experiment. If it is possible for you, you will come to know the answer for this question. Now, how aquatic plants get sunlight? The water lily and lotus have large waxy leaves. This prevents water from collecting on the leaves. If the leaves are not covered with wax, what will happen? The leaves will sink in the water and it will get collected with the water, and the sunlight will not reach the leaves. So now you understood why the water plants have the leaves covered with the wax, because they need to get the sunlight to prepare their food with the help of photosynthesis. When leaves collect water, they will sink beneath the water surface. Now, water adaptations. Flexible stems move with water current. Why they have flexible stems? I've told you, they have to move with the water currents. Now, floating seeds spread offspring. They have a floating seed, so they can spread all over and new plants can grow. Air pockets in stems at the base of leaves to help leaves float. I've already told you about this. Now, aquatic plants. Floating plants. These are light, spongy, and float on the surface of the water. However, the plants, they are light, they are spongy, and they float on the surface of the water. Some of the examples I have shown in the picture: duckweed and water hyacinth, a plant floating on water easily. Now this, see, can you see this This is a plant which is easily floating on water, and it is a miss it is not attached to the soil. The roots are not attached to the soil. Now we will see the adaptation of the desert plants. Example is cactus plants. Desert plants are either leafless, they do not have leaves, as I have told you. Their leaves are converted into thorns, or their leaves are like small needles or have modified into thorns. As a result, they lose very little water by evaporation. The stem stores water and food and is therefore fleshy. The stems are green as they perform photosynthesis in the absence of leaves. Leaves are not there, so someone has to perform the function of photosynthesis. So, who is performing this function in desert plants? Stem. So, they are green in color. Their roots penetrate deep into the soil, and some roots spread away into the soil, and some roots spread away into the soil in search of water. There is a thick layer of waxy substance on the stems of these plants too. Understood? Now we will see the plants which are on the land, terrestrial plants or plants on mountains or plants in snowy region. These plants are usually tall, straight and have a cone shape. Why cone shape? Because there is a snowfall. So if the snow gets collected on the leaves, the plants or the leaves will not be able to make prepare their food with the help of sunlight. So they are cone shape that the so that the snow can easily fall from them on the ground. They are flowerless. They do not have flowers. They have cones with seeds inside them. Leaves of this plant are needle-like. They have a waxy coating to prevent any damage from snow. Now, what are the examples of these plants? Pine, deodar, and fir. Plants of snowy regions mainly include conifers like deodar and pine. These trees are conical in shape due to their sloping branches. The thick bark helps the tree to withstand the cold. Now, did you understand the features of these plants which are growing in a snowy area? Can you now understand the adaptation, how plants have adapted themselves according to their surroundings so they can survive over there and they do not die very fast? Now, adaptations in plants of forest regions. We will do uh, only this much. Then in the remaining part, I will explain you in my next video. A variety of plants, trees, shrubs and herbs are found in forest. We have seen that in many forests there are huge number of trees. They are densely populated with large number of trees. There are many trees. Densely populated means huge number of trees. Now these plants compete amongst themselves for sunlight. Now there are so many trees in the forest, so they have to grow tall or they have to compete with others so that they get the sunlight and they can prepare their own food. Hence, trees grow tall to get sunlight, and climbers and vines grow to a greater height with the support of the trees. Now, spring-like tendrils on the stems of some climbers is an example of adaptation. Now, you understood what is the adaptation of the plants growing in forest region. They are tall in height, then they have spring-like tendrils on the stem. So, thank you, children. I will do the rest of the thing in my next video. Till then, bye.